watch and listen to this. Please watch and listen. Do not forget to share after watching. Watch and listen.
They never get them. Now they see and say Switzerland have some people where they get a separation of power. Now you where they don't go now, they go talk and say they want ban for beer and he friends them. Say me they not enter for Switzerland. Because if Switzerland not get that ban, it would mean say they will must force for beer, me they can't go for the Swiss stocks and Atangaji and the rest of the people, me they go for the Swiss stocks. For make sure say they so me the talks and on hold, they want make and say me the Swiss government federal court, it talks say you know one see for beer and the own affiliates them for day. When I remember say come to before one stand election, it talks say it will protect for beer Atangaji and your family them, it not go prosecute them. Wait therefore me say if come to take chair today, you know get no problem with Pobia. Yes. And now they come to where I they work with them, and I with them where they don't go make the special status for can go. Ask some for these people say, even wanna be the fiercest Switzerland, now a bad country. I come now when I don't go send some person where when I say now when I own president, say me, I mean vice president, say me go the address the Swiss parliament. And you bring us in now the breaking news. Me, you know, say this boy them, the Birofa can't tell we a few months back, say they get a diplomatic breakthrough where they go do it with Makongo, where they do it with Makongo, with Wiba, and whatsoever. Who be that diplomatic breakthrough? Now, Ambassador Cohen. Where the Cohen can't tell we, he says Southern Cameroon will not be viable for get independence. And say, we will not even check, say, even if we get independent, we'll get that oil. That is where these people are coming. So their own breaking news now for bring Cohen where talk say me will make na federation. Now when I see Dr. Santos and the rest they work they go for the site for the national dialogue. That is the reason why they be against the Swiss talks, they be against the broke IG and the rest. Me will continue to listen.
Have been embarrassed, indeed very embarrassed, with the warmongering, genocidal conduct of colonial French Cameroon's long-serving dictator, Mr. Paul Biya. Politicians and the people of Swiss have worked very hard to collect the legally required number of signatures to warrant a special presentation in the Swiss Senate with the sole purpose of declaring Mr. Paul Biya, the war crime and gross human rights perpetrator, a persona non grata in the entire territory of Switzerland.
Okay. So when I don't hear, wait till you don't talk. People where they be deny Switzerland, say Switzerland, they deny Pobia. Now the now way they deny the Swiss stocks. Now the now way they don't go send their person, say me go meet up the Swiss government, parliament, me they declare Pobia na persona non grata. Non grata means say they don't want to say me you enter for their country. That is what way they talk. When I remember, last year Pobia don't go for Switzerland. They go the strike for them, including the people for the bus. So they knock some people them. They go now for Swiss parliament. They talk now say they don't ban Pobia me not enter ye for Switzerland again. So as they talk they ban Pobia me not enter for Switzerland, the NGO, the HD, where it run the Swiss stocks, it don't go write a petition for jam for the Swiss government. Say me they uplift the embargo where they be jam for Pobia. Say no go enter for Switzerland. Me they uplift them because Pobia and your own people and they go come for the Swiss stocks. So now you where these people and now they don't go now for good petition and so that me they not unleash this thing. And now you can't talk say Pobia they make genocide. Okay, if person come for your house, they use colass, they use axe, they use machine gun, they kill your people them. You not get help because you not get those instruments them. You not say court a day. Or me will talk say commissariat a day, police station a day for corner. You go report the case for police station, and the police they don't talk say they don't give convocation. Say the one you give me the for court tomorrow, me they judge the case. Then now your brother again, or your own sister, when you come say the night him and brother-in-law you begin them. He can go for that commissariat. Go talk to this so and no one say me the person can pass for the commissariat. When they understand what the logic for you. Say some man don't can thief you. Some thief man don't can thief all your people, them thief your chop, thief your money for your house. Now, you want to talk, he move hand, he slap you. You want to talk again, he move collapse, he cut their picking into two. You want looking for corner, you see policeman a day for commissariat. You go talk say deeper, he keep my picking them, he don't take my money, don't do so. Policeman talk say, okay, I will handle it. He give convocation for that man say, I want you, me, you come for gendarmerie tomorrow. I want judge you. Why you go thief that man, you go thief that man, them. Then now your own papa, your own mommy, where it be the crisis, this so why they can't thief my brother, them. He go talk for that policeman say, the man, where he don't go thief my papa, them, my brother, them. I no want to say me can't enter for your house. You know why? Because he no want to say me the policeman he judge the matter. He want to say me the policeman he finish kill. I mean the team man kill you. Because if the policeman, the team man he go for that police station, they go put handcuff them for your hand. They go punish you. They go talk me pay fine for the thing the way they thief them for you. Now why that way some activists and the we can talk say are you have no diplomacy? Say now a diplomat when no diplomat. How person will know diplomat? Me I tell Ambazonia, there is never a day Cameroon government, Paul Biya, what an Ijo, what an come to, it will wake up on one day tell you say, brother, I don't give on independence. That is a lie. Now we get for use force on them before they will give with the independence. And for we forget independence, we must be recognized by the United Nations, African Union, or a different country like America and the rest. Now we use country, then they don't talk say I don't see when I do the fight. Me when I come as separate when I for here for this fight onto this table. Then a person when I check say now one of Ayuk Tabe and the rest. They go talk for that man say I don't want for show me for one table with that person. I don't want to me come for that table, me come for day. So it benefit who? It benefit Ambazonia or it benefit Napobia. That is exactly what way they happen for here. Okay, we hear.
The implication of the Senate actions of today is that Mr. Paulbia and his internal circle will be banned from ever setting foot in Switzerland. Our effort.
Okay, now Switzerland, now then the road spearhead. Say Southern Cameroon the fight with La Republic. We want to separate that fight. We must separate the fight. And La Republic, the reason why the fight with we now because it also know we be part of them. Say now we land, say we be Biafra people, we will come and leave the land for them. But we too will talk for La Republic. Say no, now we land this. We when I get one independent, we not be there. We wanna say we'll ban the come up for Matasem and they come up for that side for Mongo. And where we get police, I mean we get custom post them where they there for they separate with boundary. So we not be in one country. Switzerland talk say yes. I will hear when I come for there, I will see what will happen. America talk say yes. I support me. Switzerland can't separate una. Germany say he support them. Holland say he support them. European Union say he support them. Canada say he support them. So then Canada they give money for transport. Say I will pay me people to go when I go separate the matter. Then now so when I own brother away when I be called say Ayuk Tabe and the rest. They go deny say no. I don't want and say me for them and they say their food them for Switzerland. Therefore, they no want of me go for court. If Cameroon they play ball with Nigeria, if they play ball with Nigeria, Cameroon with Nigeria they play ball. Now, who did decide the game? Now referee when a Nigeria man. He decide the game. Who will win the game? Now Nigeria man will win them no. But now when they go play ball, Cameroon, Nigeria, you want to go play ball. Referee na man for Switzerland. You don't try to corrupt the referee. We no dey. Referee talk say no. Jange money na for top table. When I can't go play. When I can't play the ball, man will win. He go win. Now your own brother, where he really know say even I go, when I will win this ball because when I go keep the cash all penalties, they will cash all in them. Then your brother now he can't go talk say no. I bet I no want to say me people for that team me they come for that field. That means say now what he will talk now say The other man will just wake up talk say, okay, they win match now by for future because this other team will not become. That is exactly what they happen for here. Now the thing that we understand say when we talk say we will boycott election. Ayuk Tabe and Kuningi IG people they deny them, say they're not gonna make no lockdown, no boycott for election. Because they will not endorse la Republic National Dialogue. My problem now for educate people for ground zero. For educate people for ground zero. For tell them say a few people they will go take money for la Republic. And now all the fighters will get and they will remain for bush. Because la Republic nothing give them work and nothing recruit them. Okay, now since that way la Republic make a commission of disarmament. How many of the boys the way they disarm them, they don't enter for work. They don't give them which work, no nothing. Instead of them, they instead die. Because la Republic knows say if it take when I put an inside work, when I can get more power, more energy, more skills them, when I can fight it. Now so they do it for SDF. When they be launched SDF for 1990, they kill 6 people. People die because of Frundi. They make lockdown, they make ghost town, and all that kind of thing them. But when Frundi be decide for cross for the chubby with Paul Biya, you know they remember any person, you know remember people where they be kill them. You know remember people where they be kill them. You know remember all that kind of people them. So now Frundi the chubby with la Republic. Now you the work I talk say Amba people and are bad people. Now you the work I talk say they so me they must do some me more make federation. I the one ask them for Frundi say if you call say federation, it means say like how some man can't lie me say a patient dog will eat the fattest bone. I the one ask them say which day be where God be don't make bone inside this world. God never make bone. God make meat, and then put it talks say how we support this meat, it then make bone for support the bone. So if a patient dog it will eat the fattest bone, what happened to the flesh? Must we be patient and only eat the bones when people who are fast and smart enough they have taken all the flesh and they have gone with the flesh? What happened to the first federation? And what guarantees that another federation cannot be tampered with? And why must we federate? That is the problem. So we have lost people, families, and everybody. And the reason we lost the people now because we be the fight with la Republic for defend we land. Now where it all come up say we get for go for play where we get a neutral ground, neutral people, where we get a neutral agenda. We will defend, we point, we put them on top table. Then people they want hell we on brother and like people go buy and say me they not come. We don't have any union of a treaty of union with la Republic. Union treaty is like marriage certificate. Before you want marry woman, it come for your papa house, you get your mommy, your birth certificate, your papa name and a day for the. He can't marry you. You are even decide say when I make monogamy and everything, when I share everything, the woman feel change in name for marriage certificate. He put them for your own name. He accept your name. But it not mean I say when marry another worker, the woman not will come out only because they get marriage certificate with you. The same procedure where they be establish the marriage certificate through a peaceful means. Now the same procedure where the PC take and the chakara a marriage certificate. Yes, because when you want marry now for good or for worse. Yes. But me, I guarantee you say that one I just think where they talk. Because all lizards and all frogs, all toads, all fish, they like water and for being inside water. Now why that way they live now inside water every day? But none of those animals that like water where it bubble. Yes, fish like for sure inside water, crocodile inside water, lizard inside water, all those kind of things they like for sure inside water. But none of them like water where it already be at 100 degrees centigrade because it will inside kill you. So we must be able to differentiate between the wrong road and the bad road. Me some man can't tell me for you say how you do know bad roads. How you do know this road because the man to the talk fine because not everybody who is using the name Ambazonia, it be for Ambazonia. Because never a day, whether you come for northern zone or for southern zone, you never ever go for your backside. You go see a crocodile where it sleep put the belly for up, or you see lizard where it sleep it put the belly for up. It talk say it is put the belly for up because the belly the bite. All lizards lie prostrate. You do not know which one is having belly ache, but from the behavior you understand say the lizard is sick. The behavior of your 1-year-old pikin, it understand say it is sick. Pikin no go open mouth tell you say it is sick. 1-year-old pikin no fit tell you say mommy I is sick. Or 3 months or you know if it is sick. Now only when the pikin they cry, the men gang so or they chop the vomit, you carry the pikin go for hospital. When we see a youth tabi them, they work out they come to where no fit receive we because we carry blue and white flags them. And we say no fit give independence. And then they come to where a youth tabi they support it. Come to where it bring the special status where Pobia endorse them, and where Ayuk Tabe and your own Kuningi IG people them they against the special status. I mean they against the Swiss talks. Until they work at talk now say meet Switzerland a ban Cameroon government and the own ambassador them because when they put embargo, they know they put embargo for Donald Trump. You want they put them with close associates people the way they did for a back. So when these people do not go for the talks issues are not Grimy La Republic representative, me they come for day. It therefore means say the day against the Swiss talks because they don't endorse La Republic national dialogue. That is where we are going to. Now, yeah.
Intensify to ensure all their stolen assets in Switzerland are seized. Proceeds of colonial crime, thievery, exploit.
Okay, now Ambazonia. You don't talk now say they don't talk say me Pobia no put the foot for Switzerland. It can use small sense. It tell say, oh, me they seize Pobia in money. Me they seize all their people their money for Switzerland. We problem. No mean I say me they seize Pobia in money. We problem. No mean I say me they seize France their money. We don't care about it. We problem where we there for the revolution. I say me Pobia Francophone and La Republic. We the common for Ambazonia. We don't care. What are Pobia get now? How many houses them for Switzerland? What are France get now? How many for Switzerland? Is that the reason why we are fighting? Pobia not the kill with people that are because get houses for Switzerland. Our problem is that Cameroon government, me they go retreat to their boundary where they will get them the 1st of January 1960. And at that boundary, where in the year 2010, where they want to celebrate the 50th anniversary, United Nations, you can't give Pobia 2 maps them for day. So we don't care how much Pobia owe for France. We don't care how much France has invested in La Republic. We don't care whether Russia get ties for La Republic. Our problem is that retreat to your boundaries at as per independence. Now, so when Cameroon be the judge problem with the Bakassi for the Green Tree Agreement, Bakassi and Nigeria for 2002, the verdict be common and say with him. Both countries should withdraw to their boundaries as per independence. Now, why that Nigeria come out? Nigeria not come for Bakassi now because Cameroon government win it for court or they win them for war. Now, because they tell you say respect your boundary, there where you go for independence. We get boundary different. When you want to come out for Ambazonia to go to La Republic, you will pass custom. No country in the world, even America, where you will get custom inside a country, except now for airport, when a point of entry for seaport. When you walk by land, you pass custom them. How you pass for Matazem and for Modica. You understand, say you enter a different country. That is exactly what we are saying here.
An outright extortion from both the Ambazonian livestock and the Cameroonian treasury. Things have happened very fast as we continue to work tirelessly behind the scene to use the international world order to call Mr. Biya and his cronies to book, end their senseless war, and usher in a new era of peace, justice, prosperity, and development for the people of Amazonia.
Perfect. You don't talk say me Pobia recommend the usher in a new era of peace and tranquility for the people of Ambazonia. When I understand, say Ambazonian cannot talk, say they all already conclude a rapprochement with Paul Ayuk Tabe. Say they get for create a Cameroon of peace and justice under Camto, where no person would dream again to separate. It's our problem. Now say we will get peace and security for our place, or our problem. Now say me and La Republique is come up for land. That is exactly where we get for the drive to go to. But these people, they don't really make deal them with La Republique. And when La Republique, they don't go home, he say, go to the Swiss talk. Me, I tell you something where I don't know. They don't approach La Republique. Say they begin for start the Swiss talks for late November. La Republique talk say they still be occupied with elections. And the before talk say they will make national dialogue. They check say it go waka, no waka. They go for elections. People don't deny elections. Now when elections don't finish, La Republique not get no more excuse than for go for the Swiss talks. Then now when La Republique don't look and say it's not time for a neck. They go meet all these people and tell them say half for the deal the way we don't make them. Now why that one a year how we tell some with the talk say it one way against Camto. Then Ayuk Tabe they can't go rewrite later they apologize for Camto. Because Camto don't tell you say we don't make deal with one. I don't go out there when people they deny for see me and they talk so with it. So Camto now he can't go make an Ayuk Tabe they write that letter when a secret letter they jam they tell Camto say we are still with you. You are an honest person. You are not a liar. You never disclaim say they no be enter meeting will come to. You never disclaim say no be na you be na they take money $6,000. You never disclaim all those kind of things. So you never disclaim the fact say it dismiss Anglophone lawyer take Francophone lawyer. You never disclaim the fact say Yerima and they endorse La Republique special national dialogue for a special status. You never disclaim the fact say the person when a chairperson waiting for Restoration Council Dr. Santos and Dr. Success, the day against the revolution, now they talk to me the first time wait where it happened for a day, put up for pocket. Anybody disclaim the fact say where they work with the Ayabadam, where they work with La Republique military, then where they go kill people and for all places and for Batibo and the Kiki all fighter. Anybody disclaim those fact them. But the only thing where he can talk now say he get correct diplomacy for breakdown of government, for divide we, for promoting the agenda for La Republique. And I don't ask them for you say if you go complain for some person say some person they owe you. Now they don't give convocation say me that person come for commissariat can't pay the money for day. Then I am mommy says where he claims he like you. He go right he go to ask them for commissioner say you know one say me the person come for commissariat. It means say wait. It means say your mommy no want say me they can't go pay the money for you because when that man go commissariat they go cash it they go lock him for day until they he must pay the money. But when your mommy go for commissariat, talk say no, commissioner, I don't want to see me the person come for commissariat for you. It means that your mommy they walk in for the other side. That is it.
Following the official letter addressed to the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, as the official deputy face of our struggle, Comrade Daphne Yerima is addressing the Swiss Senate, showing them a carefully produced video of Bia's war of genocide on our people, as presentations to make Mr. Bia a persona non grata get into final gear tonight. The petition is jointly presented by the leadership of the IGK in Europe, headed by Vice.
Okay, now, me I ask when I say, when I don't deny say Switzerland, na Francophone country, say Switzerland na France, say Switzerland na La Republique. How then when I go again for the petition Switzerland? Say me ban for beer. How Switzerland will ban your own person? How when I not be get trust for Switzerland? Because when I say when I not go for the Swiss talks, because when I not trust Switzerland, then when I still go again for Switzerland, for go the action for Switzerland, say me hell when I for ban for beer and you close collaborators and me they not come for the. Now the same thing you hear ban like Eritato where it go for White House say they go beg help for Donald Trump. Now he can talk say Donald Trump na erratic person, say na crazy man. How you know say some person na crazy man? Then you still go again. If you been a correct person, now you be go for instead hell the crazy man. You will come again for go the beg help for crazy man. May I tell you something, brothers and sisters? If you listen to this audio, he don't talk say the vice president for IGK, he don't give the letter for Yerima. Me go talk for Switzerland. Switzerland where they be talk say they not trust them. Where they be no say na La Republique. And their role for Switzerland, when I say no, they don't want their problem where Yerima they go for
Confuse them with your silence. It seems most times the problem we have with ourselves as humans is the problem of saying what is not yet ready to be put forth. We all seem to have this problem, and most times there are countless reasons why we do this, to make people know that we are somebody who also has his own worth. We try to make ourselves look big, try to talk others down, and sometimes gain some respect aggressively, some godlike reverence to ourselves. We're ready to say everything that can be said to have a stand on a position that is of worth and make people see us as important too. And in the process, we say more than we actually should. Have you ever thought of the importance of silence? Have you ever thought of the reason why you have been given two lips and a brain to think? The main reason is for you to know by reasoning the right time to talk and the right time not to. To be able to envisage when our words are needed to be heard and when we are to be silent, even when the situation and circumstances around us seemingly want us to speak out. Yes, life can be a bit complicated and demanding. It can throw you off balance and give you no reason to be logical. However, since you have no control over many situations, you do have control over your own life. Look at yourself more than you look and meditate on others. Saying too much is providing an arsenal for you to get hurt with your words. Being mysterious, on the other hand, makes people go the extra mile to be your friend. You don't want to give them any ammunition to attack. Be still in your conversations and thoughts and keep the people around you guessing. Keep them wondering and looking over their shoulder for you. They will yell at you. You do nothing. You say nothing. They will come calling on you when you do not want. Stay calm. Say nothing. You aren't doing them a favor. You're doing yourself a favor. Hearing nothing from you will give them much to think about when they want to approach you. You become that guy or that girl that makes them feel unsure of themselves. Your silence disrupts their confidence. It breaks their flow of thought regarding you. They just don't know how to get to you anymore. You don't give them any means or a reason to. It's like a man who goes to a party with his friends and doesn't dance. No one is going to laugh at his dance moves. Why? Because he hasn't danced. They will keep coming up with ways to define you just because you never provided them any. Instead of you trying to give reasons as to why you're better and why they're wrong, why not just keep quiet and steadily work toward your dream, bearing in mind that you have a goal better than the circumstances around you? We've heard the popular expression, silence is the best response to a fool. The people around you do not necessarily need to be proven as fools, because the whole essence of going down your particular path is for your own sake. Why don't you keep them confused by your silence? Keep them entirely thinking about you while you stay focused on your goals. Nobody is you, and that's what makes the difference. The moment you start bearing in mind nobody knows anything about you is the moment you begin to understand that talking to convince people about who you are doesn't really work. You don't need to tell them who you are. Let them find out. Don't give them exactly what they need to say about you. Let them play the guessing game. You do not necessarily need to respond to anything they say if they intend to draw out some negative reaction from you. Just leave them in silence and let your actions do the talking. Smile on and confuse them with your choice of saying nothing. All you're required to do is listen. Listen and let them seek your voice. Let them find it hard to figure you out. What's more fun than giving people virtually nothing revealing about you while you live your life to the fullest? Thanks for watching. Have a great and inspiring day.
start a new career as a Linux system administrator with an average salary of $80,000 to $120,000 a year. Dynamic Tech Academy has transformed many lives for the better through our 6-month Linux program. We are so excited to announce that we are adding DevOps course and Red Hat certification at no charge, which will make students more competitive. Over 80% of our students have no prior IT background, yet vast majority of alumni land jobs in 3 to 6 months after they start applying. Our ultimate goal is to reach 100% student employment, so we work with every student until he or she gets a job. Upon successful completion of the course, we will provide resume building, interview preparation, and job placement assistance. With the Linux course, you get more than 300 hours of in-depth training, and you get to learn from experienced instructors. By the end of the program, our students can be Red Hat certified if they choose. Our alumni work in companies, both government and private companies in the USA, Canada, and even Europe. Want to learn more about the program? You can contact us at info@dynamicdmv.com, or you can call us at 240-604-9505, or you can call us at 240-423-7865. And you can also visit us at www.dynamictechdmv.com. If you are interested in online classes, please register on our website. That's once again www.dynamictechdmv.com.
The thing to try when all else fails is again. The person who really wants to do something finds a way. The person who does not finds an excuse. The person who prevails is the person who refuses to give up. The person with the mental toughness is the person who will triumph. The testing of your faith produces perseverance. The man who can get up one more time than the time he's knocked down is going to be the winner. Being knocked down is not a problem, but staying down is a problem. Get up, because success begins by getting up one more time than you've been knocked down. The Bible declares in Proverbs 24:16, listen to this: for though a righteous man falls 7 times, he rises again. For though a righteous man falls 7 times, he rises again. Again. You're not a failure for falling down. You're a failure for staying down.
You know, it's amazing how many people in the world have done phenomenal things after having failed numerous times in their life. And so failure doesn't have to be the end. Making mistakes doesn't have to be the end. I think most people, if they're going to be successful, they have to press through some things. And one of the things that we tend to do, or one of the lies that the enemy tells us is, well, there's just no way. There's no way. There's no way out. But we have to remember that there's always a way out. And those of us who are believers in Jesus Christ know that he said in John 14:6, I am the way. We may not know the way, and he may not be telling us the way, but he wants us to believe that he is the way maker. God will make a way for you, but he does require you to never give up.
You may be tired today. You've been dealing with a challenge in your health, a relationship, in your finances for years. You used to believe that you would overcome, but Now you're worn down. You don't think it's ever going to happen. Let me encourage you. What God promised, He's still going to bring to pass. You may have given up, but God has not given up. He has your healing, your breakthrough, your promotion, the right people. Now do your part. Get your passion back. Start taking hold of His strength. Don't allow that weariness in. The enemy wouldn't be fighting you so hard unless he knew you were close to your victory. He couldn't take you out, so he's trying to wear you out, get you weary, discouraged. Don't fall into that trap. All through the day, Lord, thank you that you're renewing my strength. Thank you that I will soar like the eagles. Thank you that I am strong in the Lord. That battle may be taking a long time, but I believe right now, strength is coming into you. Hope is coming into you. God is filling you with fresh courage, determination, vision. You will run and not be weary. You will walk and not faint.
Don't give up on yourself, because if you do, then what you're saying is God's not big enough to change me. There's nobody that is beyond change. God can change every single one of us. I don't want you to give up. I don't want you just to throw in the towel and quit. If all you can do right now is just get out of that bed and walk across the room, do something. And if you'll do what you can do, God will do what you cannot do.
The difference between possibility and the impossible lies in your own personal persistence. Persistence is the path to victory for every champion. Run to win. Be a champion for Jesus Christ. Fight the good fight. Endure hardness as a soldier of Jesus Christ. Press on in the heat of spiritual warfare. Press on in the darkest night of your sorrow, when you've lost the dearest on earth. Press on when all seems lost and hopeless. Press on when your dreams have been shattered and seem hopelessly outdated. Press on when your friends forsake you. When your best friend walks out, Jesus Christ, your best friend, walks in. Press on, because the God of heaven will never leave you nor forsake you, even to the ends of the earth. Press on, press on, press on, press on, press on, press on. The victory is yours if you will not quit.
What the terrorist regime of La République du Cameroon are doing to our innocent people. They were looking for money. Since they couldn't see money, they decided to take the life of this innocent child for about 2 months. We are pleading for the intervention of the international community.
Ambazonia, land of freedom. You shall live in plenty, meeting our need, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God be the watchman of this nation. Ambazonia rising, rising, rising. Ambazonia rising to fall no more. Ambazonia rising, rising, rising. Ambazonia rising to fall no more. Them are shooting us, them are killing us, them are burning our houses, so them are killing us, them are shooting us, them are raping our children. Wait till we do, wait till we do, wait till we do, wait till we do, wait till we do. Atanga Chipolo, wait till we do, Mr. Pia, wait till we do, La Republico, wait till we do. UN is watching when they are killing us, they are burning our houses. Oh, AU is watching when they are killing us, they are raping our children. The land is green, the land is beautiful, that's the reason they are killing us. The land is green, the land is beautiful. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God be the watchman of this nation. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God be the watchman of this nation. Look at that father, he is crying, bearing his only son. Look at that mother, she is weeping, the kid, her only child. Look at that little girl, she is crying, nowhere to go. We will fight, we will resist till the last man standing. We will fight, we will resist, defending our homeland. Where till we do, where till we do. Ambazonia rising, rising, rising. Ambazonia rising to fall no more. Ambazonia rising, rising, rising. Ambazonia rising to fall no more.
Start a new career as a Linux system administrator with an average salary of $80,000 to $120,000 a year. Dynamic Tech Academy has transformed many lives for the better through our 6-month Linux program. We are so excited to announce that we are adding DevOps course and Red Hat certification at no charge, which will make students more competitive. Over 80% of our students have no prior IT background, yet vast majority of alumni land jobs in 3 to 6 months after they start applying. Our ultimate goal is to reach 100% student employment, so we work with every student until he or she gets a job. Upon successful completion of the course, we will provide resume building, interview preparation, and job placement assistance. With the Linux course, you get more than 300 hours of in-depth training, and you get to learn from experienced instructors. By the end of the program, our students can be Red Hat certified if they choose. Our alumni work in companies, both government and private companies in the USA, Canada, and even Europe. Want to learn more about the program? You can contact us at info@dynamicdmv.com, or you can call us at 240-604-9505, or you can call us at 240-423-7865. And you can also visit us at www.dynamictechdmv.com. If you are interested in online classes, please register on our website. That's once again www.dynamictechdmv.com.
And let me say two. The first one is, do you foresee jurisdictional problems when you filed in the ICC? The reason why I ask is because the Rome Accord, Cameroon signed the Rome Accord, but they never ratified it. I think France signed and ratified. Now, you're bringing in beer and Macron. The question is, as it concerns beer, do you foresee jurisdictional problems in that court? And number two, my colleague here presented very succinctly the federal constitution, the so-called federal constitution. Did you know that that constitution was never presented to the Southern Cameroon Parliament or the West Cameroon Parliament for ratification before it became a constitution? Do you know that it was a constitution of La République de Cameroon that was transformed by decree by Mr. Ahijo and imposed on Ambazonia? Have you taken a look of Resolution 1608 of 21st April 1961 that the United Nations voted, and France did not vote did not vote that resolution. La République de Cameroon did not vote that resolution. The rest of French Africa, except Mali, did not vote. In that resolution, independence was given to the Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia. Now, if you read that resolution in its paragraph 5, you will come to understand that the paragraph 5 said, when the two trust territories get together, they will have to enter into an agreement regarding the policies that will be applied. In other words, a treaty implied. That never took place. Have you taken a look at that and see how it will impact your case? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think I can answer this. And we looked at 47 also. You guys can keep. Why don't you go ahead? I think you can hear it.
For the video.
First question.
For the video.
Oh, for the video. Let me just, before I pass this on the details of the resolution, which unfortunately resolutions are often honored in the breach rather than the observance. I know in Kashmir, the United Nations voted for a plebiscite in Kashmir, and India said, well, that's sorry, we got the arms and you don't, and now we're 70 years later, they still haven't had anything. But putting that aside, well, I think our theory would be, as a conspiracy, France being a signatory to the International Criminal Court, there's a conspiracy between Macron and Biya and the French military and the Cameroonian military that would expose all of the participants to the International Criminal Court because one of the participants is a signatory. Secondly, there's an alternate vehicle to have established jurisdiction that's having a referral from the United Nations Security Council, which has happened on a couple of other occasions. So we know they'll make whatever arguments they can, but I don't think that's going to stop us from filing anything. But why don't you go ahead and, Bruce, and I'll elaborate on the Constitution.
Well, also our filing against MBS, they're not signatories either, Saudi Arabia. So there have been examples where the ICC has found jurisdiction based upon the horrendous behavior. Gaddafi, as I recall, Libya was not a signatory.
And I just add that right now, the United States is being subject to examination in Afghanistan, although we never signed the International Criminal Court whatsoever. In fact, we threatened to go after the prosecutor for actually examining our war crimes in Afghanistan.
So there is a jurisdictional concern, but it's one that we've addressed in previous filings, and the investigation continued forward. Yes, we have looked at the Constitution. I brought up Section 47, which is a little known part, which said how you amend the Constitution. Part of my narrative of the imposition, the coup d'etat. Yes, it's 1608 and Resolution 1534. Both of those provide a basis, we believe, for bringing claims in the International Court of Justice, not just the criminal court.
Okay.
Two nations, conflict, written agreement, treaty. I believe that it's not a hard row to hoe to say, look, the Fumban Accord was a treaty. Two nations, they had an accord, they're going to come together. The Constitution that was born of that is also in the nature of a treaty. It's an agreement. So yes, we've looked at that, and we've looked at what the UN decided, which provides background and substance to those agreements. So I think it gets us in jurisdictionally into the International Court, which is different from the International Criminal Court. It's an actual trial procedure. So, but those are very, very good questions. You always have to think about your jurisdiction. We ran into some jurisdictional difficulties with the TVPA that everyone does, and right now we're currently working with other groups to amend the TVPA, to amend legislation, to get back to what Congress intended. For those of you who don't know, it's the Torture Victims Protection Act. Congress decided in the early 80s that people that were killed or tortured under the color of another nation's laws could come to the United States and sue for damages, for redress of their grievances. Unfortunately, the courts have looked at that and said, well, I know what it says, but that doesn't mean you can come here and sue. We don't have jurisdiction over you. So we're going back to Congress, making Congress do what we don't think they have to do, but the courts are forcing us to make them do, which is to say, and all such claims can be brought in the U.S. district courts in any district in the United States. If we're successful in that, and we're hopeful to be, this is for, once again, for other groups, but the people of Ambazonia would be beneficiaries, where they could actually bring a lawsuit for damages against the people that have raised their village, murdered their children, murdered their wife, murdered their sons. Right now, we wouldn't advise filing a TVPA claim because it's just, the courts are just not hospitable to them. But that tide will turn because we have a pretty bad guy on the other side. Did I mention MBS? Yeah, and it's Saudi Arabia is the bad guy that we're pushing against.
We can piggyback a lot on Saudi Arabia.
On Saudi Arabia. Thank you.
All right. I'll come to you. Let me get to the second attorney here. Barrister Ambe, please.
Thank you, sir. My senior colleagues, my question is kind of a little long but very direct. Have you, in your practice, all along, seen a situation where two countries came together to form a union, and the union ended up being a federation instead of a confederation?
The union ended up being...
Have you seen a situation where two countries came together to form a new union. Two independent countries came together to form a new union. And what came out of that new union was a federation instead of a confederation.
Well, I think that happened with, briefly with Syria and UAR.
Well, Nasser kept trying to make and unmake various and sundry arrangements. They never really had anything more than paper to back them. They never really moved forward substantively. I think the clearest example that relates to Ambazonia concerned with the decolonization, if you will, of Malaysia. Singapore initially voted to become part of Malaysia. Didn't work out because the Singaporeans were largely Chinese ethnics, and Malaysia, they were overwhelmed by the Malaysians. And so Singapore pulled out and restored its independence in 1965. And that's a similar kind of situation that we confront here. Now you're asking, well, have two countries come together and voted to merge and then establish a federation where they were previously independent?
It's type of a confederation.
Instead of a confederation, they became a single country. Like that.
No.
Okay.
I think the question is it possible for two independent countries to come together and the outcome is not a confederation, but instead a federation?
Bruce, yeah, I mean, historically, the Turks and Caicos in America, Texas was an independent nation. Texas became a state.
We had 13 separate colonies were separate states, and they became a federation under the United States Constitution in 1787.
Key West was a country for a brief period of time.
But they were all sovereign before the Constitution.
And then they finally quit drinking for a while. And they became part of the United States. And then they started drinking again, now they want to leave. But yeah, it is possible. It is possible. Like I said, the Turks and Caicos, you see that possibly happening. Many would have it that Nigeria began with there were three separate nations in Nigeria, and that was the intent. And that lasted for a little while until Ronsi overthrew the government. But Nigeria was born of the idea of three separate nations based upon ethnicity and tribes. And that was what Nigeria was supposed to be, was three separate nations coming together to form one nation, or to form a federation. And it worked for a little while, but Nigeria did what Nigeria does, and the military took over.
In the United States, we permit, whenever they want, Puerto Rico to vote on independence, as opposed to becoming a nation. They've always voted, for whatever reasons, to stay in a Commonwealth status. But the votes are free and open. They campaign on that score, which is the way in which self-determination should be operated.
Correct. But Ambe, did you have a particular reason for asking the question?
Yes. And thank you, for letting me know. The essence why I asked the question is, it is my understanding that two independent countries coming together, had they formed a confederation, which is what the Soviet Union was, Union of Soviet Socialist Republic was, then we wouldn't have been in the position in which we find ourselves today when it comes to when we want to leave. The excuse that is being used by French Cameroon today and calling us part of their country is because of this twisted federation that my senior colleague here, Barrister Fru, explained to us about the constitution that they used in 1961, which was something that was imposed on us. Had we gone to sit down and form the agreement that was mandated by 1608, then the result of that agreement would have been a confederation. And that never happened. That's why he was, practically my question was a follow-up to his, to make sure that as we move forward, we have that at the front of our head, that confederation never actually happened, and it was for a reason.
No, that followed into my narrative. I didn't want to get too much into the weeds. But yes, 1608 was disregarded, and once again, the House of Sand. I would caution, however, that if it were a confederation and you have one side with all the guns and the visceral ability to kill people for no reason, it doesn't matter what you call yourself. They're going to keep you if they need you, especially if you're 60% of the GDP. So I don't know that the use of the word confederation as opposed to federation would have been a magic bullet, but I get your point, and I think that can be added to the litanies of why this is all just illegitimate. It's just all a house built on sand. None of it makes any sense. None of it's real. None of it's defensible. Legally, morally, ethically, ethnically, it's just not defensible.
Let me just add, I think the process is everything here. I mean, the whole idea of self-determination is there's nothing magic about confederation or federation. It's whether the people who are governed by it agree to it. In the United States, I say when we moved from confederation to federation, we had conventions, special conventions in all 13 states were called. They debated it, and they voted up or down. They voted yes, they wanted to create a federation, if you will, a federal government, but it came after free, open debate and elections. Well, what's wrong with that? They ought to be able to decide, just like, you know, you can choose to be single, but if you want to get married, you can get married too. And that's what was defective in Cameroon and so much in Africa. They don't have any process by which this is done. Nigeria today lives under a constitution that was ordained by a military dictator in 1999. They never had any debate or any vote on it whatsoever. How can you claim that's a constitution?
So does Cameroon.
Yeah, and Cameroon is similar. Well, maybe they went through a little better theatrics than what was done in Nigeria. But that's the key here is the consent of the government.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Yes, sir, Mona.
Thank you, distinguished attorneys. We are all aware of La Republique's propensity to corrupt and to corrupt absolutely. We did see them give Thibault Nagy a gold statue, Patricia Scotland, a gold statue, all of these elements and intrigues of corruption to make them, do what La Republique wants. The question is, in fact, La Republique is using our wealth and resources to minimize us, to colonize us, to turn us into black-on-black colonization, station. To what extent can we believe that La Republique would not come after you guys and give you much more bigger money to delay or prolong this process? And granted that they won't do that, how long would this process take? How do you estimate that it would take how long? And another follow-up question would be, to what extent are you guys willing to help us come up with a currency distinct from the French franc in this process? Thank you.
Thank you.
That would happen quickly.
Yeah. we can put you on a dollarization program very fast. They have it already in Panama. They had it for a while in Argentina. So that's a possibility. Now, with regard to, all I can say is my whole life is testimony against Mr. Villa or any other tyrant, bribing me, stealing my soul, making sure I would end up in perdition in 3 seconds. And if you don't trust me, then you shouldn't hire me. I submit my whole life to scrutiny. With regard to the timing, I said, there are all sorts of flukish things we don't control in international politics that can make this happen, anywhere from 1 year to 5 years to 3.5. We don't know. Key element is the role of France, because they're critical at the higher levels. They sit in the Security Council, they can veto things that we'd like to have happen. And maybe Macron loses office. There may be some other deal that where he's able to get some kind of advantage and walks away from Cameroon. So to try to suggest that, this is a sprint rather than a marathon, hopefully, but we have to be prepared to run a marathon if we need to, because it's about not only the living, but those yet to be born. We cannot walk away and let them inherit the same horrors that are being witnessed every day in Cameroon. That is not an option.
I would say it's a true son of the Deep South. I'm not smart enough to be duplicitous. Once I'm on your side, I'm on your side, like a bulldog, like I said. And the way the conversation would go would be, okay, let's talk. You promise you'll stop killing the people? Okay, you stop killing the people? Good, you can keep your damn money. I'm not coming to work for you, but don't kill the people anymore. It will not happen. We have the requirements of our profession. We get disbarred if we switch sides, no matter how much money. And as I said, and I meant it when I said it, this is an opportunity that seldom comes, and I feel blessed, and I know my partner does too. If before you die, you get to give freedom or help in a small way, independence, freedom, dignity, justice to a people, you live a pretty good life. And that's what I want to do. That's why I started doing it. So, I didn't go to law school because I couldn't count. I used to be an engineer. So I went to law school to make the world a better place. And every morning when I drop my kids off at school, I say, make the world a better place. And it's not just words, I believe it. So, love you guys, but I love my kids. So I can't tell them to make the world a better place if I do something like that. But thank you for that question, because I understand that it has been a problem that whoever comes to help Ambazonia oftentimes get co-opted into the bigger basket. There's no other basket for us. We're honored to work for you.
Thank you. The question on currency, please.
Oh, yeah, the currency, that would be one of the first things that we would suggest. We did some work for another, well, Gabon. And one of the first things we said is, you guys have got to get on an international currency. You can't keep using the franc. You can't let the French continue to control your monetary system. That's what I meant by the hug. You know, you're with me. You're free, but you're with me. The hug that strangles and kills. It's the abusive relationship hug that the French do, and it's mostly through their currency. The first thing you got to do is you got to get away from the franc, get away from the French. There's a reason why France has all of that wealth. It's not coming from France. It's not from selling wine, and it's not from selling cookies. It's stolen from Africa still. I said it out loud. So they make
Start a new career as a Linux system administrator with an average salary of $80,000 to $120,000 a year. Dynamic Tech Academy has transformed many lives for the better through our 6-month Linux program. We are so excited to announce that we are adding DevOps course and Red Hat certification at no charge, which will make students more competitive. Over 80% of our students have no prior IT background, yet vast majority of alumni land jobs in 3 to 6 months after they start applying. Our ultimate goal is to reach 100% student employment, so we work with every student until he or she gets a job. Upon successful completion of the course, we will provide resume building, interview preparation, and job placement assistance. With the Linux course, you get more than 300 hours of in-depth training, and you get to learn from experienced instructors. By the end of the program, our students can be Red Hat certified if they choose. Our alumni work in companies, both government and private companies in the USA, Canada, and even Europe. Want to learn more about the program? You can contact us at info at dynamicdmv.com, or you can call us at 240-604-9505, or you can call us at 240-423-7865. And you can also visit us at www.dynamictechdmv.com. If you are interested in online classes, please register on our website. That's once again www.dynamictechdmv.com.
sure you can say they're a colony, but the more you look into the definition of a colony, it's where one nation occupies another nation for their own purposes and subjugates them as though they were slaves. And that's what happened to South Cameroon. That's what happened to Ambazonia. They became the slaves. They became the colony. All of the powers were put in the hands of the president. All of them. The president, now BM. He gets to be the federal government. He gets to choose the leaders of the state government. He gets to choose the leaders of the local government. He gets to decide, even after elections, who wins. He gets to decide who the ministers are. He gets to decide who the speaker is. He gets to decide how the legislature is composed. And elections have become just a mere ritual. So what I want people out there to start understanding is this just isn't right. This is wrong. And that's why you should help, because we're correcting a wrong. And the wrong just keeps getting worse. It just keeps getting worse. What we had was a revolution. It was a coup d'etat. It was a coup d'etat by the presidency. Biya became president through a coup d'etat. He destroyed a constitutional government and created a dictatorship. Right under everyone's noses. French didn't say a word. Sadly, the English didn't say a word. Now, there was a lot going on in 1971 and 72 throughout Africa. There were wars in Egypt, there were wars in Israel, there was war in Vietnam. But no one said a thing. Everyone stood silent. That's what you can't do. You can't be silent. The time for silence is past. So today's government, today's institution, today's system, all comes from this junta, this coup d'etat, this overthrow, this military-type takeover from a beautiful, imperfect, but still constitutional government, the rarest of things in Africa. So anyone that says, and I know they're going to say it, oh, well, the Ambazonians, they're not capable of governing themselves. They don't know what to do. It'll just be another Southern Sudan, or the South Sudan. They're wrong. The people of Ambazonia know what a constitution is. They know what it means to govern themselves. They know what justice means. They know the importance of justice. They know the importance of independence and liberty. Because that's what they're asking for now. And they're not asking for it just to get what they want, to scurry along and create another despotic regime. I firmly believe that everyone in this room, everyone sitting at this table, and everyone out there is committed to making Ambazonia the shining star of Africa, fulfilling the promise that has never been fulfilled of the post-colonial Africa, the promise of Kwame Nkrumah, Jomo Kenyatta, and the other great leaders. It can be done, and we're going to do it. So you ask yourself, how is it possible that all of this could have happened and no one has recognized that Ambazonia is free and independent, that it's a thing, that it exists? Well, they have. They are, the junta of Biya and its predecessor has gone from one illegality to another, one illegitimacy to another. Keep putting on additions and building higher on that house of sand that Jesus tells us through Matthew. Cannot stand. It's now being governed as a colony because it has never been legitimately annexed. It is not legitimately absorbed. And I submit to you that Cameroon, as it exists today, isn't a legitimate nation. President Biya in 1992 himself acknowledged Ambazonia's existence. In a case, it was the Bamenda High Court case HCB 28/92. He agreed. Additionally, President Biya, some of you may remember, it's funny how these conflicts come and go. There's a huge thing in mid-early 2000s, the Bokassa conflict with Nigeria. Actually, it was in the early 90s with Sako. who isn't getting a lot of good press these days. But when that conflict with Nigeria was resolved, Paul Biya signed a UN treaty, in front of God and everybody, in the UN, that said the following, let me quote, I, President Paul Biya of the Republic of Cameroon, in a bid to provide lasting peace to the Bokassa conflict, do hereby commit myself and my government to respect the territorial boundaries of my country as obtained at its independence. Cameroon's independence was obtained January 1st, 1960. Ambazonia wasn't a part of Cameroon January 1st, 1960. Ambazonia was still part of Nigeria for a few months and then free. So Paul Biya promised in a treaty, and this is important, I'm going to pull back to where I should be, where my country could be, because he is French, so clearly he says, l'état c'est moi, the state is me. Paul Biya is Cameroon. Cameroon is Paul Biya. I'm going to pull back, and this is where we're going to be. And the UN believed him because they sent surveyors out, and they built these giant pillars that are on the border between Ambazonia and French-speaking Cameroon. So if for a moment you think that there's no legitimacy to this claim, there's a fence. Pretty close to a fence anyway. There's a wall separating Ambazonia, the free and independent nation of Ambazonia, from French Cameroon. And I found out something today, speaking with His Excellency the President. I find this stunning, and I hope people that are listening and watching today think about what I'm about to say, the gravity of this. If you live in Ambazonia, if you're an English-speaking resident of Ambazonia, and you cross the Mungo River, if you cross into French Cameroon, you have to go through a security checkpoint. You have to present documents, and you have to pay customs on anything you bring back or take in. Just like if you're in Italy and you're crossing over to Switzerland. Just like you're in France and you're crossing into Portugal. It's not one country. They don't think for a minute it's one country. They know better. They're just not acting better because they have themselves a nice colony. And that cannot stand. That house of sand cannot stand. And how great will be that fall. Further, this may be a little unfair, but that's what lawyers do. We bring up unfair stuff. There's a really good chance Paul Biya isn't even legitimately the president of Cameroon. Under any international accords, any concept of international law, because what the Cameroonian Constitution says, that the National Assembly president becomes the head of state until the president is elected within 90 days. So when Ahijo resigned, what should have happened was the head of the National Assembly, president of the National Assembly, should have become the president of Cameroon. Unfortunately, he was Ambazonian. His name was St. Muna. He should have been the president of Cameroon, and then there should have been an election. If anything happens when you have slaves or a colony, you don't let them lead you. So Biya appointed himself president. Illegitimately. How great was its fall when the house of sand, the house built on sand, came down. So you see, there is no basis for any argument against Ambazonia. You have to tell the truth if you're Cameroonian, or if you're on the side of the French-speaking Cameroonians. If you're Macron, before you go to bed at night, when he's not busy telling us how many plastic bottles we should use, and standing on tables and cheering on soccer teams, he has to tell himself the truth. And the truth is, Ambazonia is the vassal state, the colony, the slave of Cameroon and of France. There's still a colony in West Africa. He has to tell himself that truth, because no other truth will abide, because there is no other truth. Everything else is a lie, and it's been a lie every day for decades. That's the hope. How great will be the fall. Unfortunately, that's not the end of the story. It's deeply unfortunate. What I just told you, the history of the illegitimacy of this whole process, would be enough for independence. But there's an even greater thing that has happened. There's even more of a reason that everyone out there needs to join together for justice, for liberty, for independence, freedom, equality, and humanity. Now, Biya has embarked on a course of genocide, mass slaughter of innocents. He's not slaughtering his people. He's slaughtering civilians in a country that he has taken over. And they tend to be children. They tend to be beautiful children. And they tend to be women and young men. And they're all civilians because there's not an Ambazonian army. And there's this tendency, and I don't want to get too horrific or explicit here, but one of the powerful messages he sends to those that he's enslaved and colonized, the favored way of the militias, the security forces, and the military. And that's an amazing word, isn't it? Militia. That means anything. Anybody that you can pay to kill somebody, they're in the militia. And then you say it really wasn't me. And Biya says, oh, it's really Ambazonians killing Ambazonians. And that's nonsense. But one of the favored ways, the horror-filled ways, one of the reasons I can't let my children look at my computer when I'm working on these files is because of the policy, is they like to wound the Ambazonian children and women and then burn them to death while they're still alive. And they burn their homes. There's been over 400 villages erased, leveled by fire. Or they do it in the streets. And why do they do it that way? And why do I say it's a favorite tactic, not just an accident? Because they're sending a message. You shoot someone in the night, or you shoot someone in the forest 200 feet away, no one really sees that unless they're standing with you or with the person that got killed. But if there are villages being burned and the horrible screams of people being burned alive, that gets heard, that gets seen, and the message is sent. And the message is very clear. The message is, your God isn't here to help you. I command you. I am the demon, the devil that can destroy you and will. Don't rise up against me. That is the message that Paul Biya is sending. And that is the message that I hope when President Macron, before he goes to bed at night, stops telling us how many plastic bottles to drink from, stops standing on tables rooting for his soccer team, who are primarily from Africa, but that's another story. I hope he understands that that's the real message that he's sending. It's not about plastic bottles or soccer teams. It's about children being burned to death just to preserve an illegitimate colony that should have never existed. There are over 2 million people that have been displaced. Many of them have crossed over and gone into Nigeria, which has its own problems. It's not exactly a great place to flee to. Things must be pretty bad if you look to Nigeria as a place where you can find peace and comfort and respite. And under the international law, as Mr. Fine said, it's both the right and the duty of the people to throw off a government that is seeking to reduce them to absolute despotism, seeking to reduce them to slavery and to being a colony. And that politically defenseless minorities can escape oppression. And we have more than that here. It's not a minority, it's a separate nation that has been oppressed and enslaved. They've been murderously denied their internationally mandated rights. And if I haven't lost you with the horrible nature of the things I'm telling you, I hope you're still here, because something can be done. We all need to do something. And just like when you go to church, just like Jesus said also on the Sermon on the Mount, good Lord, would my grandma be proud of me to know that I mentioned the Bible twice, 3 times today. You can give 3 things: your time, your talent, and your treasure. but you can't stand by. You can't stand by and just watch it happen and do nothing. That's not an option. We're talking about civilization. Mr. Fine mentioned the various avenues of redress, and I submit one that's very interesting to me. Not only the ICC, who we've appeared in front of, we have the fortune of one of the security guys there is from Florida like me, and the last time we were at the ICC, he goes, "Hey, you're that Florida guy, how you doing?" I said, "You know, while it's good to be recognized by you, I'm not sure this is the best place to be recognized." He said, "Don't worry, the bad guys don't come through security." So it was a good deal. But the International Court of Justice, not really used that often. It's where nations get to sue nations based upon violations of treaties, accords, and promises. And I submit to you that I think we have two pretty darn good cases, maybe more, of the violation of the international accord, the Fonbonne Accord, the violation of the Constitution, the initial Fonbonne Constitution. That was an agreement that we're going to do this, we're going to do that. That was totally abrogated in 1972. And also the Bokassa Treaty. Once again, Biya probably didn't know what he was doing, but he promised in front of the UN, in front of God and everybody, I'm pulling back Cameroon to where it was January 1st, 1960. That's the other side of the Mungo River. Doesn't include Ambazonia. So he needs to abide by that promise. And the International Court of Justice can do that. So I want to close by saying, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Fangum Gorji Dinka. I'm proud he's a lawyer. Not often lawyers do really good things. As I once told my grandma before she passed away, she said, "It's going to be great to see you in heaven, Brucey." And I said, "Grandma, I don't know. I'm a lawyer. I'm going to have to work extra hard. It's going to be real hard for me to get there." But he was a lawyer in his 1985 Declaration of Ambazonian Independence. Have some calling him the father of Ambazonia. And he's 93 now, I think. He's in exile. He's been arrested by Biya and tortured. He says, "I'm not the father, God is the father." But he's the guy. But sitting at this table, sitting in this room, I am confident that the James Madison, the Thomas Jefferson of Ambazonia is in this room, or sitting at this table, or certainly in that audience, outside in the audience. There's going to be a constitution. And I am equally confident that not only will these people be, or whoever this is, be James Madison or Thomas Jefferson of Ambazonia, of Africa, because it's time to get it right. It's time that post-colonial Africa realizes the potential that it's had. And we don't go from one despotic dictatorship to the next. That we finally, the dignity, the greatness of the African people is recognized by their government. And I know that's going to happen in Ambazonia. Because after all you've been through, so I pointed the finger in the past, the present, and the future. After all you've been through, you can't just restart this thing again, making it just like it was back then. And that's a promise everyone has made in this room. And that's a promise to the world. This forum was intended to explore the various aspects of the Ambazonian independence movement, the optimal, non-violent past Ambazonian independence, and the termination of the ongoing genocide of the people. All of the things that we're going to do as lawyers, that we're going to do, that we need your help, are all against the backdrop of stop killing my people. Independence, work toward it every day. But for now, they gotta stop killing. They gotta stop killing them. They have to stop killing the Ambazonians. And with all grace and humility, I say you're my people. Because once you got me, you got me. I get team haircut. And I'm sort of like that bulldog. I have 7 speeds in 1 year, only 4. So that is what we had hoped to do for you today. The thing that we cannot forget, however, is this isn't located somewhere in Africa, involving some people in Africa that don't have anything to do with anybody else. This is a colony. This is enslavement. France has tacitly or actually approved what's going on here. One of the things we're going to do is we're going to hopefully not to expose all of our strategies, but one understands from reading history that France and England haven't always been good friends. One understands England's going to do something in maybe another couple of months that'll involve not funneling money into France's pet, whatever it is their pets are, how many plastic bottles you can have, or their soccer team, whatever it is Macron does. He's not thinking about this. We believe Chatham House is a key. We believe that England can step forward and get it right, and do the right thing, and say, that's it, enough. You French people cannot keep killing English-speaking people. You can't do that. And we hope everyone that's watching this will say the same thing. Enough's enough. You need to stop. This house built on sand cannot stand. And how great will be the fall. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fine and Mr. Duvale for the services that your firm is putting at our disposal for the people of Ambazonia. We deeply appreciate that. Time is not on our side, I guess, and I want to believe we will now go straight to the question and answer session. And the questions would be asked, and the appropriate person, if you want the lawyers to answer your question, please direct it to them. Or if you want any of the panelists here to take the question, direct it to the panelists. I see your hands up. I'm coming, please. Just give me 1 second. You know, I'm having the microphone. I have to answer the first question. Yes, so I start when I added Mr. Fine or Devale can take the question. Ambazonians would love to know what is the level of your experience in cases such as this. Any of you can take the question.
Well, okay. At least three of my experiences, I think, relate to this one. A long time effort in Cyprus, where the island remains divided between Turkish Cypriots and Greek Cypriots. In fact, we did negotiate a confederal arrangement, and Turkish Cypriots voted for it, the Greeks did not, so they tore up the whole thing, and unfortunately it still remains divided. I also spent many years on the Kashmir issue. You know that India recently annexed at least the portion of Kashmir that was on their side of the line of control. Kashmir is similar in its background to Ambazonia because when the British abandoned India and there was supposed to be a plebiscite amongst the former chieftains as to whether they ought to be independent or join Pakistan or India. The United Nations just permitted becoming absorbed into Pakistan and India. Kashmir was never permitted to vote independence, and we see the results are rather bloody. The third case that I've been involved in is Sri Lanka, somewhat similar in that there the Tamil Hindu Christian minority being oppressed by the Sinhalese Buddhist majority. There was terrible, terrible internal insurrection, the brutality that was utilized by Mr. Gadabaya and his brother, Rajapaksa, caused horrible suffering, 40,000 dead. It still remains a very convulsed nation. So I know it's not easy to accomplish the kind of political resilience and international pressure to achieve justice, but I know what's involved because I've been there at ground zero at least 3 times.
And I will say, just so I add, Mr. Fine, my partner Bruce Fine, this is seldom if ever the case that he's being modest. He has participated in the drafting of over 30 constitutions for 30 different nations. Together, we filed a TVPA, Torture Victim Protection Act case to avenge the murder of Igbos in Biafra. We have worked with the Igbo leadership to the extent it can be identified at any given moment in Nigeria. That's a problem. We have also filed ICC, International Court of Criminal Justice in The Hague, complaints against Buhari, against Nigerian generals. We filed one against, to avenge the death of Jamal Khashoggi, against Mohammed bin Salman, probably the most dangerous man in the world. So I'm not going to hear crow to you about how brave we are, but we don't. Remember the story about the bulldog? So we filed in front of the International Criminal Court. We know our way around there. As I said, the security guy knows us. So we've been blessed to have these opportunities, and we're hopeful to bring this experience and our depth of experience and how we do things. It's a 24-hour day deal for us, and we're honored to represent the people of Ambazonia. And we do have experience in doing this.
All right, thank you, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please, for the sake of time, I will appreciate if you can ask a question and not make a comment, and you'll have a maximum of 1 minute to ask your question, please. I will start from the senior barrister right here, Barrister John, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you for a very beautiful presentation from my colleagues. My name is Barrister Fro. I have one question to ask, or two. And let me say two. The first one is, do you foresee jurisdictional problems when you filed in the ICC? The reason why I ask is because the Rome Accord, Cameroon signed the Rome Accord, but they never ratified it. I think France signed and ratified. Now, you're bringing in beer and Macron. The question is, as it concerns beer, do you foresee jurisdictional problems in that court? And number two, my colleague here presented very succinctly the federal constitution, the so-called federal constitution. Did you know that that constitution was never presented to the Southern Cameroon Parliament or the West Cameroon Parliament for ratification before it became a constitution? Do you know that it was a constitution of La République de Cameroon that was transformed by decree by Mr. Ahidjo and imposed on Ambazonia? Have you taken a look of Resolution 1608 of 21st April 1961 that the United Nations voted, and France did not vote did not vote that resolution? La République de Cameroon did not vote that resolution. The rest of French Africa, except Mali, did not vote. In that resolution, independence was given to the Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia. Now, if you read that resolution in its paragraph 5, you will come to understand that the paragraph 5 said, when the two trust territories get together, they will have to enter into an agreement regarding the policies that will be applied. In other words, a treaty implied. That never took place. Have you taken a look at that and see how it will impact your case? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think I can answer this. And we looked at 47 also. You guys can keep. Why don't you go ahead? I think you can hear it.
For the video. First question.
For the video.
For the video. Let me just, before I pass this on the details of the the resolutions, which unfortunately resolutions are often honored in the breach rather than the observance. I know in Kashmir, the United Nations voted for a plebiscite in Kashmir, and India said, well, that's sorry, we got the arms and you don't, and now we're 70 years later, and still haven't had anything. But putting that aside, well, I think our theory would be, as a conspiracy, France being a signatory to the International Criminal Court, there's a conspiracy between Macron and Biya and the French military and the Cameroonian military that would expose all of the participants to the International Criminal Court because one of the participants is a signatory. Secondly, there's an alternate vehicle to have established jurisdiction that's having a referral from the United Nations Security Council, which has happened on a couple of other occasions. So we know they'll make whatever arguments they can, but I don't think that's going to stop us from filing anything. But why don't you go ahead and, Bruce, and I'll elaborate on the Constitution.
Well, also our filing against MBS, they're not signatories either, Saudi Arabia. So there have been examples where the ICC has found jurisdiction based upon the horrendous behavior. Gaddafi, as I recall, Libya was not a signatory.
And I just add that right now, the United States is being subject to examination in Afghanistan, although we never signed the International Criminal Court whatsoever. In fact, we threatened to go after the prosecutor for actually examining our war crimes in Afghanistan.
So there is a jurisdictional concern, but it's one that we've addressed in previous filings, and the investigation continued forward. Yes, we have looked at the Constitution. I brought up Section 5047, which is a little known part, which said how you amend the Constitution. Part of my narrative of the imposition, the coup d'etat. Yes, it's 1608 and Resolution 1534. Both of those provide a basis, we believe, for bringing claims in the International Court of Justice, not just the criminal court.
Okay.
Two nations, conflict, written agreement, treaty. I believe that it's not a hard row to hoe to say, look, the Fumban Accord was a treaty. Two nations, they had an accord, they're going to come together. The Constitution that was born of that is also in the nature of a treaty. It's an agreement. So yes, we've looked at that, and we've looked at what the UN decided, which provides background and substance to those agreements. So I think it gets us in jurisdictionally into the International Court, which is different from the International Criminal Court. It's an actual trial procedure. So, but those are very, very good questions. You always have to think about your jurisdiction. We ran into some jurisdictional difficulties with the TVPA that everyone does, and right now we're currently working with other groups to amend the TVPA, to amend legislation, to get back to what Congress intended. For those of you who don't know, it's the Torture Victims Protection Act. Congress decided in the early 80s that people that were killed or tortured under the color of another nation's laws could come to the United States and sue for damages, for redress of their grievances. Unfortunately, the courts have looked at that and said, well, I know what it says, but that doesn't mean you can come here and sue. We don't have jurisdiction over you. So we're going back to Congress, making Congress do what we don't think they have to do, but the courts are forcing us to make them do, which is to say, and all such claims can be brought in the U.S. district courts in any district in the United States. If we're successful in that, and we're hopeful to be, this is for, once again, for other groups, but the people of Ambazonia would be beneficiaries, where they could actually bring a lawsuit for damages against the people that have raised their village, murdered their children, murdered their wife, murdered their sons. Right now, we wouldn't advise filing a TVPA claim because it's just, the courts are just not hospitable to them. But that tide will turn because we have a pretty bad guy on the other side. Did I mention him yet?
Yeah, and we
If Saudi Arabia is the bad guy that we're pushing against.
And we can piggyback a lot on Saudi Arabia.
On Saudi Arabia. Thank you.
All right. I'll come to you. Let me get to the second attorney here. Barrister Ambe, please.
Thank you, sir. My senior colleagues, my question is kind of a little long but very direct. Have you, in your practice, all along, seen a situation where two countries came together to form a union, and the union ended up being a federation instead of a confederation?
The union ended up being...
I'm just in a situation where two countries came together to form a new union. Two independent countries came together to form a new union. And what came out of that new union was a federation instead of a confederation.
Well, I think that happened with, briefly with Syria and UAR.
Well, Nasser kept trying to make and unmake various and sundry arrangements. They never really had anything more than paper to back them. They never really moved forward substantively. I think the clearest example that relates to Ambazonia concerned with the decolonization, if you will, of Malaysia. Singapore initially voted to become part of Malaysia. Didn't work out because the Singaporeans were largely Chinese ethnics, and Malaysia, they were overwhelmed by the Malaysians. And so Singapore pulled out and restored its independence in 1965. And that's a similar kind of situation where we confront here. Now you're asking, well, have two countries come together and voted to merge and then establish a federation where they were previously independent?
Instead of a confederation, instead
of a confederation, they became a single country. Like that.
No.
Okay.
I think the question is it possible for two independent countries to come together and the outcome is not a confederation, but instead a federation?
Bruce, yeah, I mean, historically, the Turks and Caicos in America, Texas was an independent nation. Texas became a state.
We had 13 separate colonies were separate states, and they became a federation under the United States Constitution in 1787.
Key West was a country for a brief period of time.
But they were all sovereign before the Constitution.
And then they finally quit drinking for a while. And they became part of the United States. And then they started drinking again, now they want to leave. But yeah, it is possible. It is possible. Like I said, the Turks and Caicos, you see that possibly happening. Many would have it that Nigeria began with there were three separate nations in Nigeria, and that was the intent. And that lasted for a little while until Ransi overthrew the government. But Nigeria was born of the idea of three separate nations based upon ethnicity and tribes. And that was what Nigeria was supposed to be, was three separate nations coming together to form one nation, or to form a federation. And it worked for a little while, but Nigeria did what Nigeria does, and the military took over.
In the United States, we permit, whenever they want, Puerto Rico to vote on independence, as opposed to becoming a nation. They've always voted, for whatever reasons, to stay in a Commonwealth status. But the votes are free and open. They campaign on that score, which is the way in which self-determination should be operated.
Correct. But Ambe, did you have a particular reason for asking that question?
Yes. And thank you, for letting me know. The essence why I asked the question is, it is my understanding that two independent countries coming together, had they formed a confederation, which is what the Soviet Union was, Union of Soviet Socialist Republic was, then we wouldn't have been in the position we find ourselves today when it comes to when we want to leave. The excuse that is being used by French Cameroon today and calling us part of their country is because of this twisted federation that my senior colleague here, Barrister Fru, explained to us about the constitution that they used in 1961, which was something that was imposed on us. Had we gone to sit down and form the agreement that was mandated by 1608, then the result of that agreement would have been a confederation. And that never happened. That's why he was, practically my question was a follow-up to his, to make sure that as we move forward, we have that at the front of our head, that confederation never actually happened, and it was for a reason.
No, that followed into my narrative. I didn't want to get too much into the weeds. Yes, 1608 was disregarded, and once again, the House of Sand. I would caution, however, that if it were a confederation and you have one side with all the guns and the visceral ability to kill people for no reason, it doesn't matter what you call yourself. They're going to keep you if they need you, especially if you're 60% of the GDP. So I don't know that the use of the word confederation as opposed to federation would have been a magic bullet, but I get your point, and I think that can be added to the litanies of why this is all just illegitimate. it's just all a house built on sand. None of it makes any sense. None of it's real. None of it's defensible. Legally, morally, ethically, ethnically.
Okay, so what else? His Excellency, this is Amber TV, and we want to interview you and the country coordinator, Madame Benedicta. What do you think about the just ended press conference?
This is a wonderful press conference. We have exposed our problem beyond Gabu, beyond Bamaki, beyond Ikata, and all the places, all the atrocities that have been committed. But above all these things, today is. I want to interview you guys. Today is.
Excuse me?
It's a memorial day.
The president is on live TV.
Just step back, step back. Let me finish with him, then I interview you guys.
I'm going to say today is a memorable day because we have this law firm that has experienced litigating against leaders and those who are breaking human rights around the world. Leaders that we know, tyrants and dictators, they have the experience of having taken some of them to the international court, criminal court, and taking cases to the International Court of Justice. These are two different courts. The most important thing I want to tell you is that from this day forward, Colombia will hear from us. And all those who are helping to perpetrate these crimes, we are going to come against them. We are going to come after them. That is the result of the Ambazonia coalition team, and that's the result of your interim government. So we are returning this term, and it's a joint effort by all our organizations to make sure that with your support, these people don't go scot-free. They should be held to account for all their crimes and their atrocity crimes that they are committing today. All those who kill those babies and burn them in Gabu should be held to account, should be stopped by the law. Now, this is not giving up on any of the efforts we're making. We are pursuing rigorously our self-defense efforts on the ground. We are also pursuing rigorously our diplomatic efforts. We are going to continue to build on the relationships that were built up to today to help us arrive at our destination, Boya, sooner than later. But to quickly stop these atrocity crimes and hold these people to book, we all bring them to book. We have to engage and do so now, the legal route. And today is just the beginning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. We would like to hear from the law firm that will be representing the people of Ambazonia. This is ABC TV, the Ambazonian TV. We would like to know from you guys, what do you have to bring for the people of Ambazonia? Thank you.
The main thing we have to bring is hope and confidence that if they hang together in our persistence, ultimately they'll be rewarded with independence. We've been down this route with many other comparable situations, and as long as there's not a division, you don't let Mr. Bia do divide and conquer, we will succeed. And that hope is indispensable because, as we've spoken earlier, this is a marathon, not a sprint. But do not lose confidence. It can and will be done. Mr. Bia should tremble when he should recognize that God is just and his justice will not slumber forever.
Thank you.
And the cause is just, and this is right, and it's something that needs to be done, and the world needs to know. The people of Ambazonia do need to have hope. It will get done.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We'll go to the coordinator of, and after the coordinator, we want Secretary Chris to get ready. Ms. Benedicta, what do you have to say?
Well, I'm here as a servant of the people of Ambazonia. I'm here to say that we are here to reaffirm our determination to acquire the independence, to restore the independence that we are due it. I'm here to call on every Ambazonian to look back and see how much damage we have incurred from this war, and nobody is to stay back. Everyone should come on board. Work. We need your finances. We need your intelligence. We just need all that it takes. No one is left behind. La Republique does not check your name before they execute or before they maim you or they kill you. So those that are still left behind, you're welcome on board. And the new energy that the firm is going to bring in this struggle, I believe in it. And we hope, God willing, we're going to go faster than later. So thank you very much. All ladies,
Secretary Chris, please. Yes. Yeah, so thank you, Secretary Chris. You flew all the way from Texas to Washington, D.C. That means that this is very important. So what do you have to say there, Bob?
I would say this was a groundbreaking event here, ladies and gentlemen, from Washington, D.C. We added the third and the last part of this struggle, the last arm of this struggle front today, right here from this National Press Center in Washington, D.C. We have the arms part of this struggle, then we have the diplomacy. Now we added the legal part of it. And so that is a groundbreaking development from Washington, D.C. La République du Cameroon, whole beer is going to hear from us, and it isn't looking good for them. So that's all I can say, and I shall be talking more about this in the days ahead. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you. Thank you, Secretary Chris. We're going to go to the chairman of Sako, right here. Mr. Chairman, do you have anything to say to the people of Ambazonia, please?
Actually, came here for a purpose, and that purpose, when we get to the end of that purpose, and we just want to give everybody back home the courage that we are not sleeping here either, and we think we are taking the right step on this road. God bless you all at home, and wish to meet you some other time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ambazonians, we'll keep you all updated. God bless you all. We love you.
Look at one that we own and be more and John the Red and Abel Power Mama. In our one penguin, yeah, party boy, yeah, with the pool and yanky. You know what's I get a yanky, Abel Mamba.
Against leave.
I don't know if you call me.
Leave. Okay.
Thank you so much, my dear, for the job we do about this struggle. You know, it's very, very important.
They say those who fight, you don't see them. All right, you don't see them. I remember on the 30th of December, we had a meeting somewhere, and you said something, and I believe in that. You said, if Akwanga, Beniza, and Ayabacho has raised up and holds a Sako like this, we'll go like a jet. But because they're holding the hand, we're going slow. And because of that failure, what happened. But we can avoid it now. We can avoid such things now if we work together. All right? And I appreciate so much. I'm happy to hear you speak the way. Especially to Patricia Scotland. That's it, Darren. And she will hear it.
Yeah, no, she will hear it. I was looking for you to interview you.
Oh, you were looking for connection?
Yes, for ABC. Are you still there?
The garage after the.
How they all meet
Just maybe you were still like.
Maybe.
No, arrow back.
Oh.
Start a new career as a Linux system administrator with an average salary of $80,000 to $120,000 a year. Dynamic Tech Academy has transformed many lives for the better through our 6-month Linux program. We are so excited to announce that we are adding DevOps course and Red Hat certification at no charge, which will make students more competitive. Over 80% of our students have no prior IT background, yet vast majority of alumni land jobs in 3 to 6 months after they start applying. Our ultimate goal is to reach 100% student employment, so we work with every student until he or she gets a job. Upon successful completion of the course, we will provide resume building, interview preparation, and job placement assistance. With the Linux course, you get more than 300 hours of in-depth training, and you get to learn from experienced instructors. By the end of the program, our students can be Red Hat certified if they choose. Our alumni work in companies, both government and private companies in the USA, Canada, and even Europe. Want to learn more about the program? You can contact us at info@dynamicdmv.com, or you can call us at 240-604-9505, or you can call us at 240-423-7865. And you can also visit us at www.dynamictechdmv.com. If you are interested in online classes, please register on our website. That's once again www.dynamictechdmv.com. Start a new career as a Linux system administrator with an average salary of $80,000 to $120,000 a year. Dynamic Tech Academy has transformed many lives for the better through our 6-month Linux program. We are so excited to announce that we are adding DevOps course and Red Hat certification at no charge, which will make students more competitive. Over 80% of our students have no prior IT background, yet vast majority of alumni land